Hi, welcome to Flosstube number 12. I am so glad to be coming here to you and sharing some of my finishes, talking about the retreat that I just hosted this last week here in Arkansas, and looking at some of the haul that I've done. After reading your comments on the last Flosstube, I didn't feel so bad about all my whips. You guys were great enablers and allowed me to maybe make a few more purchases to add to my whip pile, but that's okay. Several of you said just get another basket, and so that's what I've done. So I'm not going to worry about it. I just keep adding, and I'll stitch whatever the mood hits me. But so thank you for your enabling. I am sorry for the delay. I've spent the last 3 weeks doing last minute preparations for the retreat, and then I had 2 sessions for the retreat that was held here last week. And even though it was a busy last few weeks, I wouldn't change it for anything. It was so much fun to get together with some other stitchers. We kept the numbers small just because of COVID, where we could spread out, and it was just a time where we could come together, share our stitching, get ideas from each other, and just have fun. And I think that's so important now. We've had kind of a crummy last 2 years, but you know, it is what we make it. And so if we can find little ways to share some fun, laugh, look at our stitching, do some more stitching, do some more enabling so we can buy some more, then it just makes it that much better. So that's what we're going to keep doing. I'm so thankful for this hobby that we have, so that we do have something to visit with others about and to do if we're stuck at home and can't get out. But it was a great week. The first session, bless their hearts, they got there and the air was out. There's nothing like no air in Arkansas, but the Hilton was great about jumping right in, getting it fixed, and the rest of the time was fantastic. We worked on a Christmas biscornu, and I showed that in a few episodes back. Lots of fun. I enjoyed seeing how everybody made it their own. Some people added beads to their biscornu. Some changed the linen color. And isn't that what it's all about? We just get ideas from each other. So next time, I know I'm ready to do another biscornu, and I'm going to try the beads around the edge on my next one. That really gave me an incentive to give that a try. So retreat, we laughed, we played games the first night. There's one game, if you've ever played, it's called Left, Right, Center, and it's a little dice game. It's 3 dice. You roll the dice, and you have a stash of floss that you bring with you. And we just all brought 3 skeins of floss. And so if I roll the dice, if it lands on an L, I pass one of my floss to the person on my left. If it lands on a C, I throw it in the center. And that's kind of like, we used to play a game when I was a kid, and that was called the mush pile. So it's kind of like the floss goes to the mush pile. Nobody's getting it. Then if it lands on an R, I pass a skein of floss to the right. If it lands on a dot, I don't have to do anything. So that's the best thing. You want a dot, so you don't have to pass your floss and lose it. So you keep playing, you just keep going around in a circle until only one person is left with floss. And whoever's left with the floss gets the mush pile. They get all the floss in the middle. So it was just a fun time of laughing. Someone would lose all their floss and think, well, there's no way. And then the next roll of the dice, they may get a floss from the person on their left or their right. So you really don't know. It's hard to predict who's going to win on that game. But if you've never played it and you have a group of stitching friends, I encourage you to try it. It's just tons of fun. You can buy the little dice set from Walmart, I think has it. I'm not sure. Target may. I got mine from a little gift shop in Branson. But I'm sure any of the big discount stores would carry it back in the game section. But a fun game if you get together with stitching friends to just kind of tell everybody, bring some floss, we're going to play a game. It's just a good icebreaker too. But we did games. Then the second night we had class during the day, but that night we had a hot chocolate bar and we watched a Christmas movie and stitched. And oh my goodness, there's not much that's better than hot chocolate, Christmas movies, and stitching. So we had the best of all 3. Then the last night we did a Christmas exchange. Everybody had a Christmas stocking, and they had to stitch one Christmas small. It could be an ornament. It could be a small little pin keep or a little small mounted flat fold or something. And this was an extremely creative bunch. I just oohed and awed over all the finishes. I was so excited to see how everybody finished their little Christmas small, and they are very talented. Don't let them tell you different. And then the rest of the stocking was filled with just little goodies. It might be some skeins of floss. It might be a gift card to go get a coffee somewhere. It might be just a little scent chips, and I know my mom got a little scent chip thing of gingerbread, and it smells so good. I can't wait to have her burn that in the house in one of our burners because, oh, I'm just ready for those kind of smells during fall. But we had a great time, and I appreciate all the ladies who came and attended, and I hope they had as much fun as I did because it was just a great breakaway and a chance to feel just a tad bit normal again. So that's just a little update on the retreat. Also, during that time, that 3-week period, we have a new member of the family. I know several weeks ago, I had told you about my mom had a little Chihuahua named Coco, and she was 18, just nearly 19 years old. She was a little rescue. Mom got her when she was about 2, but we had had her for so long. She was just a devoted member of the family. She was the queen of the house, or at least she thought she was. And so she passed away, and that was so hard. First, Mom said, I don't know if I want to get another one yet or not. Then she came in and said, I think I want a puppy. And so during this past 3 weeks, we made a road trip to Oklahoma, and Mom got a little mini dachshund. And so my son's home from college this weekend. I had him bring, Dexter is his name, so I'm going to introduce you to Dexter. So this is Dexter. Let's see if you can get him to look at the camera. Oh, there he is. He is the sweetest thing. We picked him up, and I know he was probably nervous about the car ride, but he cuddled up with Mom all the way from Oklahoma back to Arkansas, and we got so tickled because he would cuddle up here on her, but then he eventually crawled, and he rode nearly the whole trip back, laying between the seat and the back of her neck, and then he'd stick his head around the corner and peek to see what was going on. And so this is Dexter, our newest member of the family. He has already become a very spoiled member of the family. Everybody is holding him. He is a cuddle bug. Oh, he loves to give kisses, so you got to be careful. He will give you a kiss on the mouth if you're not careful. But he's fun. Our poor cats, they haven't had a puppy in the house for a long time. One cat jumps up on the chair and just looks at him like, don't you even think about it. And then our other cat is running everywhere and playing with him. So it has been so fun to watch those two get along with each other. So it's been a lively place in our household the last couple of weeks with him being added to the members. But anyway, I'm going to let Evan or Lane, take him back. And I just wanted you guys, you were so sweet to send Mom condolences on the loss of her puppy. I shared all your comments with her, and that made her feel so good. And so thank you for doing that. And we just wanted you to have a chance to meet Dexter. So anyway, now I'll get on with the finishes. And the first finish I want to show you has to do with Mom's new puppy. Since she was getting a new puppy, and she was so excited, she was like a kid at Christmas. She was just counting down the days till we made our road trip to Oklahoma. I thought she needs a project bag because, of course, I love to make project bags. And that's how I got started, was making project bags. And so I said, Mom, I think you need a Dachshund project bag. So I ordered the fabric off of Etsy, and I'll have the information down below. So if you want to order some of the same fabric, if you have a little Doxy, you may want a bag like this too. And then the pattern was also off of Etsy. The pattern actually had 3. There was another one up here and another one down below. But Mom said she just wanted one. Since she only had one Dachshund, she just wanted one Dachshund on her project bag. So I took the pattern and just tried to pull some of the colors in the sweater off of the dachshunds that you see in the fabric. They're chasing fall leaves and running around, and so it was just kind of fun. And then I made the dachshund kind of the color of Dexter. I also ordered a zipper pull off of Etsy. That's just a little dachshund, just to kind of finish it off. So that was my first finish this week. I told her, I said, you've got to have a new project bag. I think there's lots of things that go on in life that mean a new project bag. If I go on a trip, I have to make a project bag that has to do with where I'm going. If it's Christmas, I have to have a Christmas project bag. So she needed a project bag with a little doxy on it. And so, you know, the teacher in me, you guys that have been watching for a while know I'm a little bit of a history nerd, and I always like to have a lesson of some sort. So I thought today, what is there that I don't know about dachshunds? Let's see what there is about dachshunds. Like how long have they been around? When did they get started? Well, as I researched, it said that they were recognized as an official breed in 1885. So that's been quite a while. And I thought, you know, they've been around for a while. But then as I read further, I found out that dachshunds actually originated in Germany, and they have been around. There's records that show over 600 years ago. So, wow. I mean, that just blew my mind. I had no idea that dachshunds would have been around that long. And even though Dexter is just a sweet little cute puppy that seems so helpless in some ways, they're kind of a strong dog. In German, the word Dachshund actually means badger dog. And that's because they were bred to dig out badgers. If a farmer or somebody was having an issue with a badger, they would get a dachshund, and because of the way their body's made, they're very long, but they're short-legged. They are great diggers, and so they would dig and get down in the tunnels to get these badgers run out. And a badger, I don't know if you've ever read much about them, but they're pretty vicious creatures, and so the dachshund had to be tough to take care of those badgers. They're also known as a little weenie dog. When I was little, I had a weenie dog. He didn't look like Dexter. He was the solid brown, and they come in all different colors. They have the short hair, which was like the one I had as a kid. That was just the brown and had very short hair. And then there's others like Dexter, who is a long hair. He's considered a dapple, which means he's kind of got freckles. So on his front paws, all around here, he's got little freckles. And then, of course, his face, you saw that, is kind of colored up a little bit. And sometimes they'll have a little blue eye, and that's just part of those characteristics. So there's all different kinds of dachshunds. There's short hair, there's wire hair, there's long hair. Dexter's going to be a long hair, so we're going to have to keep him brushed and give him a good grooming. Their temperament, when I read, it said they're very playful, and that's the truth. We have never owned a dog that liked to play with toys. And that was always so disappointing. Mom's like, you know, when you go to PetSmart, there's so many cute toys and things. We just wished we had a dog that liked to play with toys, but none of them have ever cared anything about it. So Dexter is very playful. He loves all of his toys, plus things that aren't toys. He loves to play with them. Very clever. He's very smart. He's already learned how to play fetch. Devoted. He loves everybody in the family. He's not a one-person dog. He gives all of us lovin's. If we stop and talk to him and pick him up, he gives us lovin's. He's lively, and that's the truth. I'm not sure if it's just the dachshund in him that's lively, or if it's the fact that he's a 9-week-old puppy. And courageous. So I think to fight those badgers early on, they had to be courageous. It says here that just basically they have short legs and a long body. And that's definitely Dexter. He is so tiny, but he is very long. But anyway, I just thought that would be fun to kind of share some fun facts about dachshunds or weenie dogs, and just give you a little background on them. But thank you for letting me share Dexter today. Now I want to get on to the rest of my finishes. The next finish that I did is probably from one of my favorite pattern books. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. I ordered a couple of these little Tart Pans from April Whitaker. She owns HomesteadNeedleworke. It's an Etsy shop, and she's also on Facebook. She has some beautiful wood products, and this particular Tart Pan, I ordered one in this Harvest Gold, and I also ordered one in kind of a burnt orange, looks like a pumpkin color. So I'm looking for a pattern to do in it that's Halloween-y looking. But anyway, this particular pattern, I'm going to turn it so I make sure I show it to you right side up, is just a little Quaker motif, and it fit perfectly inside. I just mounted it on sticky board. I measured inside, cut my sticky board, and then added a little cotton batting, put the design on it, and then finished it off with a cord around the inside. Super quick, super easy. The thread I use, I'm going to hold it, maybe you can get a good look. This is from Romy's Creations, and she's just the sweetest person ever anyway, but her thread is absolutely beautiful. This particular thread is called Teddy Bear, and I love the variation of color in it. It was browns and golds, and I thought that's perfect to go with the bottom of this tart. And so if you ever get a chance, try some of Romy's threads, because they are absolutely beautiful and I love stitching with them. So that's one design. Now this is not a finish I just did, but it's another Quaker motif out of this book that I'm getting ready to show you, and I finished it on a little paddle, and it was so easy, just a quick finish. It was mounted on sticky board. I added a little bit of cording around the edge and then a little fluffy bow on top. So just a quick, easy finish. I use this in I have a tier tray in my kitchen, but I also have an old farm scoop that I put little seasonal things in. And so for this summer, I had this in that little farm scoop, along with a little ceramic pair of like gardening boots and a little rock that says garden on it. And it turned out really cute. I was happy with the way it all came together. But April has, this board didn't come from her, but she has some boards that are very similar. So check her out on Etsy. It's HomesteadNeedleworke, and that's where you can find something to put yours on as well. Now let me show you the book, because I have used this book so many times and just love it. It's called Stitchybox Samplers. And this particular book is from the Ackworth School Motif Pattern Book. And so this whole book, as you can see, it's not a thin little pattern. The whole book is just filled with tons of these little motifs. You could combine them. You could do like I did, just choose one to go on a piece that you have. They're different sizes. They're all fairly small, as you can see here. I've got one on the paddle, and then I have this one in the little Tart Pan. So this one's a little bit bigger than the one on the paddle, but not a whole lot. So they're all going to be similar in size. But that book, I just strongly suggest, if you have access to getting this, get it, because I love all the little motifs that are in here. And I bought this from Stitcher's Garden here in Conway, but if you don't have an L&S close by, I'm sure you could message her, or if you have an L&S close by, I'm sure you could give them this name of the book and they could get it for you. But fun book to stitch out of. I'm sure there's many more that I'll be working on out of there. But those were quick finishes. The little Tart Pan, I'm going to put it in my living room for fall. I have a little fall arrangement on a table between the two recliners, and so I wanted something I could just kind of sit there, maybe catch my needles if I needed to, and that's where I'm going to display this one. Now my next finish I can share with you. I had to submit my design for the Christmas or winter edition of the PMPS magazine this last week. That's a finish I can't show you because she hasn't given a sneak peek yet. But the fall edition of the PMPS magazine is coming out this week, and I have a design in there that I can show you because it's coming out and she's already done the sneak peek. This is just a little autumn small sampler as such. It doesn't really have the alphabet, it just has more little designs and borders that are separating designs. So it was a very quick, fun stitch. And all I did was mount it on sticky board, add a little bit of cording, and the cording matches all the colors that are in the little design. I got the cording from Hobby Lobby. And then I did a little fluffy bow, add a little pine cone and leaf, and just made it kind of fall festive looking. Very easy to finish. This board, I'll turn it over so you can see the back. This one also came from Homestead Needleworks. And like I had said in one of my earlier videos, April's really good about packaging everything. She's so fast about getting things out. And I just loved this board. It was the perfect size for a cute small project. So this is the one that will be in the fall issue. I believe the digital copy is already out. So if you have subscribed and you get the digital version, you should be able to pull this up and get started on it if it's something you think you could use in your home. And if not, I think the hardback version or the soft cover is coming out anytime. So just be watching your local L&S for that. So hope you enjoy stitching it. It was fun to do, and it makes me happy when someone messages me and says, oh, I got your pattern and I've stitched it. It was so much fun. That's the reason I enjoy designing. I have fun designing them, but it just makes it all worthwhile if I know my design has made someone happy because they were able to stitch it. So thank you for stitching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for posting your finishes. It just makes my day. Now, I know all the shops have Halloween and fall and everything coming out, and I've been telling you guys for weeks, I've been in a fall Halloween stitching mood because it's been so hot here. I'm ready for cooler weather, as I know you probably are if you live in the South anywhere. I bought this board, and I also showed this to you a few weeks back. This came from Michael's. It's an Art Minds. It's called a cutting board. And I mean, it's a nice size paddle. I loved it, and I wasn't sure what I was going to put on it, but I knew I liked it. So I had this freebie. It's a Plum Street sampler freebie, and I'll put the link below where you can go to their website and get this freebie if you think, oh my goodness, I have to stitch that. And I appreciate Plum Street putting this freebie out. It was tons of fun to stitch. I have it above my coffee bar and ready for Halloween. So let me show it to you. At the top, I just did some black ribbon. I got it at Hobby Lobby, but any black ribbon would work, or you might have a ribbon that looks more Halloween-y, has little symbols or something on it. I added some little glittery bats. That was a pick that I got from Michael's. And then this little tombstone here came as a, I don't remember, it was set of 3. Here it is. I did lay it down here. It came in this little set that also came from Michael's. This was over kind of by like the little Halloween Village sets. They have the accessories, and that's what this was. But when I saw it, I thought, oh no, that's not a Halloween house accessory. That's something to go on a bow. And that's what I did with it. So I took one of the little tombstones, see if I can hold it up, put it in the center of the bow, and then stitched the design, mounted it on sticky board, added a little bit of cording around the edge, and that's it. Now, I painted the board. I stitched it on Murky, and I love to use Murky for any kind of a Halloween project just because it kind of looks spooky to me. You know, it's got that kind of the tan and the gray and a little bit of green in it to me. That's just a Halloween color. And so when I saw this design, I knew that's what I wanted to stitch it on. Then I was trying to decide what color do I want to make the board. And I thought, well, I'll just paint it black and distress it with the dark wax. But I really wanted something a little different. I wanted the black lettering to pop and the black bow to pop in the bats. So I picked, it's a Folkart acrylic, and it's called Medium Gray. I just got this from Hobby Lobby. Now, I did have to give the board 2 coats. And the first coat I covered pretty thick. And then once it was dry, the second coat, I just tried to brush it kind of in streaks where it wasn't a full coverage, but it gave some spots a little more paint than others. After it dried, I took a sanding block and you can kind of see around the edges. I just sanded it to give it that distressed look. You can see a little bit of distress here as well and on the bottom. And then I took the Annie Sloan dark wax, rubbed all over it to give it that finish, and then it was ready to mount my stitching. So this was a super fun piece. Like I said, I have this above my coffee bar and ready for Halloween. And the verse on it, I'm going to have to turn around and read it because I don't have it memorized. It says, "Here lies my sleeping body, as lifeless as can be. If thou shouldst bring me coffee, I would spring to life with glee." So it's perfect for a coffee bar. And that's kind of true for all of us. I know my mom, when she gets up in the morning, she just does not function until she has her cup of coffee. And my husband's about to get as bad as she is. I don't drink coffee unless I'm sick. Now, if I'm sick, if I start craving coffee, I know I'm fixing to get a cold or something. But I love hot tea. So you could change it. If no one in your house drinks coffee, you could probably change it where it says, "Bring me tea, I would spring to life with glee," because you still have the rhyme in there. You might have to adjust the centering here on this one, but I think you could do that. But it's a free pattern. Plum Street, thank you so much for giving this to us. And I will post the link down below. So if you think, I think I might need that, you'll have the address of where to go to get it. So anyway, that was my finish for Halloween this week. Now I have two other things that really aren't finishes, but it's something I did before the retreat, and I had so much fun. I had helped dye fabric before, but this was my first attempt by myself. I thought, I want some green fabric, and I want some that's kind of a reddish berry color for a couple projects that I have coming up that I want to do. So I went and I got on the Rit Dye website and read and watched some tutorials and made sure my kitchen sink was cleaned out, made sure I have lots of paper towels around because I can be messy sometimes. But I read somewhere, if you're messy, that means you're very creative. So I'm sticking with that. I'm going to claim it. And I'm not messy, I'm just creative. So if you guys have the same problem, that's what you need to say too. You just say, no, I'm creative, I'm not messy. But I had a ton of fun. I'm going to take them out of the plastic because I think the plastic is making a glare. The first one turned out like this, and I called that Winterberry. And I have a little Christmas design I wanted to put on there. Then my mom loves the Grinch for Christmas. We watch the Grinch every year. She has all kinds of Grinch goodies, and that's just one of our favorites. So we love the Grinch. She always says, I feel so sorry for him. Bless his heart. He didn't mean to be mean. But anyway, we tease her about that, but we love the Grinch. So she said, because this was a green, that it needed to be called Grinchy Green. So that's what I called this one, Grinchy Green. And I have another Christmas pattern that I'm wanting to stitch on here. So anyway, I took some pieces, I kept some for myself, and I took some to the retreat, and I will have some of these available during the Christmas bag sale, which will be in November. I have a fall and Halloween bag sale coming up this next month. It'd be towards the end of September, and I have some Halloween fabric that I'm dyeing for that, and I'll show you a little bit closer to time. But anyway, I had tons of fun dyeing that fabric, and so if you've never tried it, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You guys can do it. Try it. It's tons of fun. Now, to get a more even color, I know some people bake theirs, crunch it and bake it. And I have done that before, but it gives it a little more mottled look, and I wanted a more uniform look with these. And so I just hung them on hangers, put them outside. It was a pretty day, and it's hot, like I've said in Arkansas as it's been. It dried pretty quick, and that gave it a very nice all over color. So that's how I did mine. So good luck if you want to try some. It's fun. I advise it. All right, now I better look so I don't skip anything. It's been so long. I've got so much to share. I'm afraid I'm going to leave something out. My whip. Let me share what I'm working on. I had shown everybody this little sampler. It's the smallest sampler that I own. Mary Ellison. I told you a little bit about Mary. I have decided, the more I've worked with this, that She was like the Annie Oakley of cross stitching. She didn't have time for it. She had other things. She needed to get on her horse and ride. She didn't have time to cross stitch. And I have found so many little quirky things that she has done that have just really tickled me. She, for example, I know I showed you, if I can find it here, this U last time, and how she has like 3 colors in that one letter. And I think that's just because she ran out. She reached over, grabbed whatever was there, used it. When it ran out, she said, oh, what's the next thread I've got? Picked it up and finished the letter. So she didn't have time to frog and do the whole letter in the same color. She was just moving on. So that has tickled me. The colors are so vibrant, and that kind of caught my eye. This is from 1850, and I just want you to look at how nice and vibrant those colors are. And even like when I'm reproducing a sampler, I like to look at the back, because that's typically going to give you a true picture of the original colors. And so when I turned it over, you can kind of see they're pretty close to the same as the colors on the front. Well, I didn't look really close the first time I took it out and started charting. And I initially thought down here, this little basket, that these 2 berries were white. And I just thought, well, those are white berries. And then there's 2 borders up here that I also thought were white. Well, after I charted it and decided to start stitching it, I'm looking at it very closely, and I try and do that as I'm working on a reproduction. I initially look at it, pick out my colors, chart it, then I start stitching. And sometimes as I'm stitching, I notice things that I missed the first time. And there's a couple of those. First of all, when I turned it over, for some reason I turned it over for something else. Oh, it was this one right here. If you'll look, that blue looks very similar to the blue at the end, but it's not. The blue at the front of that line is a little bit darker than the blue at the back. And so I flipped it over and I'm looking, and I think, yes, that's true, it is different. And you can kind of see here that blue is just a little bit different on each end. So at least she did use a blue, it's just 2 different blues. But when I flipped it over, I noticed that berry that I thought was white. I want you to look. It's kind of a pinkish purple color. And the same is true of those 2 lines that I thought were white. They're also a pinkish purple color. So I had to change my chart and get a different color for that. And that's just part of the thing that brings me joy when I'm working on these, is it's kind of evolving. As you stitch, I feel like I get to know the young girl who was making the sampler, and I'm seeing things closer. I may be paying closer attention than if I'm just stitching one that's already been charted. Not that I don't enjoy those, but it really forces me to look a little deeper. And when I saw that, it made me question. More than likely, these threads were dyed with things that they could find around the house, probably, especially because it's a wool thread. And so it made me wonder, why did all of these colors stay very vibrant except for this pink one right there? So I wonder, what did they use in the dye that made that fade so quickly? Or not quickly, but compared to the other colors that stayed very vibrant. I have no idea, but I'm curious about it now. So if you have any ideas, share them with me. Because that's the only color that I can see in this whole sampler that really faded. So I'm just curious about what she used that would make it fade that much. So anyway, let me show you. I've worked on it a little bit more. Matter of fact, I just took it out of my hoop, so excuse the hoop marks, to do the video. So I've done a little bit more alphabet. I've got a little bit of that border. I've used that pink where I thought I was going to use white before. I've got a little bit of the basket done, and so it's coming along. This one I am stitching, I charted it just as the sampler is, and mistakes and all. So my U has 3 colors, just like Mary put in her sampler. And if she changes thread colors in the middle of a letter, I'm going to change thread colors in the middle of a letter. So this one will be a true reproduction. Now I am working on charting an adaptation. That's a tongue twister. And the difference, we'll talk a little bit about that when I get them both completed and show you. But the difference is a reproduction is going to be you're charting it, you're using colors, you're stitching it. I'm stitching it on a stitch count that's as close to the original size as I can get it. And so you're trying to do the original justice. You're wanting it to be just as close to that original sampler as you can make it. And an adaptation is you are taking characteristics of this sampler, you're making it very similar to the sampler, but you're making a few changes. You have the liberty to do some things differently with it. And so I'm not going to tell you what my changes are yet. You just have to wait and see what they are, but I'm excited about it. And I will say, Shelley, from the retreat, I appreciate Shelley sharing with me, Shelley Nichols. She attended second session and I was working on this reproduction, and she was looking at the original sampler, and she said, you know, that would be a perfect drum. And I hadn't thought about that before. And so isn't that what you love about visiting with other stitchers? You get good ideas. And so I appreciate Shelley sharing that idea with me. So the reproduction piece that I'm doing, I am going to frame. But the adaptation piece will be made into a drum. And I cannot wait. I haven't made a drum in a while. So I may have to brush up on my drum making skills before I show it to you guys. But the adaptation will be made into a drum. And so I'm just having a lot of fun putting these two together, working on charting them, stitching them, thinking about little Mary and her Annie Oakley ways, and just having a good time with it. So stay tuned on this whip, and hopefully I'll have more to show you next week. And if I get some stitching time in, which I think I will this next week, I may even have a little progress done on the adaptation that I can show you. So that's my whip for this week. Now, like I said earlier, you guys are great enablers. And so after the last video, and I read your comments, I love to read all the comments, you were like, just get another basket. It's okay. I have a big whip pile too. And so that's what I did. I have another basket now. And I know I said I'm really going to cut back on buying charts because I have so many whips. Well, you guys just made me feel okay about it. So I have bought some more charts this week. Let me share them with you. The first thing that I bought the finishing piece before I found the chart. And it came from Hobby Lobby. It was $9.99, but all their fall is 40% off this week. So go to Hobby Lobby. It is a little wooden acorn. It's not very thick. And I'm going to paint it. I haven't decided how I'm going to paint it yet. But I thought, this looks like it needs a stitched piece here, doesn't it? So I picked it up. And then I found the chart. So let me show you what I got. It's called October Feast, and it's designed by Brenda Gervais. And is that not the cutest little squirrel? So I'm going to stitch him and mount him on this acorn. So I think that will be a super cute finish. I'm going to put it up. I'm not sure where I'm going to put him yet, but I'm putting him somewhere in my house for fall. So that's my first purchase. Lay that over there because I have a bag full. Sorry. Then I bought a couple patterns. I got this one from Manny to Donna. I just love that little Boo and Halloween. I have some of the Halloween fabric that I've dyed that I'm going to stitch this on. And I'll show you when I get it finished. But I think both of those are just adorable. Then I saw this one, and I've got some purple fabric I'm dyeing, and I want to stitch it as well. It says, get your witch on. So you've got the little pin keep pillow, and then you've got a smaller piece here. Now this particular kit, this is Needle Bling Designs Get Your Witch On. It's a scissor fob and pillow pin cushion, and it has all the goodies you need inside to finish it the way they have. So that's kind of a nice little bonus as well. So there's two more patterns in my pile. Then I have a little kit that I received at the exchange. It was in my stocking that I got from the person that I exchanged with. And it's from Little House Needlework. So Karen Gonzalez, thank you for stuffing this in my stocking. I told Karen, I had been looking at this chart thinking, I think I need that, but I've got plenty of tarts. I don't need to buy it. And I'd leave. But every time I went to the stitching store, I'd always kind of end up over there where this chart was. And she had it kitted and put in my stocking. I said, Karen, this couldn't be more perfect because I have been eyeballing this for quite a while. So I'm going to stitch it. And if you can see, it's this little train, little Christmas scene. And I'm going to mount it on a flat piece of sticky board with some fabric. And then on Etsy, I found this wooden train track. I'm going to paint it and mount that around the outside edge of it. So this will be a finish someday, hopefully soon, sometime before Christmas at least, because I want to put it up in my house. But this was such a cute design. I'm so glad Karen thought to put that in a stocking, especially since I have been kind of drooling over this design for a while. And the colors, just look at those beautiful colors. I think this is going to be so much fun to stitch. And then this little train track, and I'll have the Etsy shop posted below in case you're interested in, or you have this pattern and think, that might be a good way to finish it. So I'll post that down below so you can have that as well. Then, of course, everybody at retreat got tickled because I'm always showing my pink bag, and I say it's a dead giveaway. I've been to the stitching shop. Well, one day there was a big group of the ladies went to the stitching store, and when they came back into the stitching room, they were all just in their pink bags. I said, you're caught. I know where you've been. So we've had lots of fun with that. This just kind of caught my eye. I love initials, and I have something in mind I want to do with these as a gift. So I'm not going to tell exactly what I'm going to do with them just yet because I think some of them may be watching and I don't want them to know what I'm going to do. But I thought these little initials were just beautiful. So that's in a to-do list. So let me lay that over here. I've got piles going all around me. Then I had this little kit. It's another Little House Needleworks. It's called Peace Tree. And so in the middle of the tree it says peace, but then there's an alphabet around it. And it just looks so sweet to me. And this little kit also comes with the thread, so you've already got the thread. I'm going to use this on some of the Christmas linen that I showed you earlier. It's a 28 count even weave. I'm going to use this instead of stitching it on the khaki. I haven't decided if I want to do it on the red or the green, but it's going on one of them, so I'll show you when I get it finished. But that's another little pattern purchase. Just that whip pile, those other patterns are in there, just needs to move over. Then I found this Boo to You. That is also by Brenda Gervais, and I love this little skirt, that little buffalo check skirt. So I think she's going on a bag for next month. I've got some black and white buffalo check that I'll probably use to put her together with. I may be biting my tongue and pulling my hair out because those are not easy to put together to match all the plaids, but I just think it needs on that buffalo plaid. So I'm going to try and put her together with that for the bag sale next month. I think she'll be fun to stitch. Then a couple of floss tubes back, I showed you this finish. I have it downstairs, but I robbed it and brought it back up to show you. And I said this little design, this little board came from Hobby Lobby. And I just painted it, distressed it, added the dark wax, added a magnet so I can change it out. So there's my magnet. I have this for now. That's a Halloween. And the bow I just tied so I can slip it down over the top. I have one already made for Christmas, and I showed that in my floss tube. Well, there's other holidays besides Halloween and Christmas, and so I knew I needed a few others. So today when I was there, I found this. It's a heart and hand square dance, which fits perfect on that little board. And it's for January, February, and March. So I'll be good to go and can just switch those out. And then it shows on the back there's an April. I also saw someone posted on the Violets and Verses page, they used a Lizzie Kate design on that same board, and it fit great. So I just think that's a great, if you haven't been to Hobby Lobby yet, go get you one, because there's lots of cute patterns that will fit on it. All right, then Romy's Creations. Romy is a sweetheart too. She's been at one of my retreats before and is so much fun. Her and Simone are both just sweet, sweet ladies. And she has started a Halloween ABC. So I got the A and the B today. And the A is for alien and B is for bat. And I think these are so cute. You could do them like these little pin keeps. She showed a picture the other day on Facebook where she had made ornaments out of them and had them all hanging on a Halloween tree. And I thought that's such a cute idea. That would be cute if I ever get ambitious to do and put my sewing room. I might can do that for Halloween. I think you could also save all of them. Wait till you get all of them together and make one big picture. You could do it that way. So there's tons of ways that you could finish these, but I just think they're adorable. So I got the A and the B. I'm going to start on them at least. Then I have one more pattern. I know that's a shocker. And this one is a Little House Needleworks pattern, and it's just called Trees. And it's the Tree Lot, Hometown Holiday. And that just looks like Christmas. I love getting trees. We have artificial trees, but I can remember being little and going and getting live trees, and we'd usually go out in the pasture and cut them down, but we did go to a tree farm one time, and that was kind of fun. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet or how I'm going to finish it, but I just love that little design and had to have it. The only other thing I have in my pink bag, other than my receipt, I bought some thread. I have a Merlot from Weeks. I have a Cayenne from Weeks. And I have a Cranberry from Classic ColorWorks, a little silk thread. And I'm not sure. They're all very similar, but they're just a little different. And I'll tell you why I'm pulling these threads. In January, we had an in-person retreat this time, and like I said, I kept the numbers small. So with COVID, we wouldn't be worried about there being a large group. And everybody felt safe. I think we were in good shape. But I have a lot of ladies that have messaged me saying, would you please do another Zoom? Because they don't travel or they're just not willing to get out yet, and I certainly understand that. I know we don't get out near as much as we used to. We're very cautious about when we do, where we do. And so I'm going to plan a Zoom retreat. It will be this January. I'm going to get my notes because I know I'm going to forget something if I don't. So y'all bear with me. It's called For the Love of Samplers, because you guys know that's just the love of stitching for me. I love anything associated with a sampler. And it will be held January 28th, which is a Friday. We'll Zoom that night from 7 to 9. And that's just kind of to get any kinks worked out that we need to for people that are new to Zoom, just to make sure your Zoom connection is working well. We'll have some games that night, little icebreaker ways to get acquainted with each other. And I was nervous about that. The first time we did a Zoom retreat, when it was still Leela May Designs, I thought, how can we get to know each other like we do in an in-person retreat? And we had a ball. It was great. You could visit with each other. You could see what everybody was stitching and have time to share. We still played games, even though it was via Zoom. And so we're still going to do some of that this time. So Friday night is just working the kinks out, some games to get acquainted with each other, and I'll have a small little activity, make it, take it type thing that we'll do Friday night as well. So it's a quick 2 hours. I know last time I thought, well, that's 2 hours. That gives us a lot of time. I think I blinked twice and the time was up. But that's a good amount of time to make sure things are working. Then Saturday, January the 29th, we'll have Zoom from 8 o'clock that morning. It will start and it will last until 4 o'clock that afternoon. And I am so excited about what we're going to do. I am designing a sampler, and anybody that participates, if you decide to participate, you'll get everything kitted up to stitch that sampler. Then I have 2 smaller projects that I'm working on. One of them will be mounted on a board, And it will be using a motif from one of my antique samplers and then a few other little things to go on it and fill the board as well. You'll get the board, you'll get the design, and you'll get the supplies to stitch it with and finish it. So you'll have everything you need to completely finish that. Now the sampler, you're just going to get things to actually stitch it because you may want to frame it. Then the second small piece, I have little antique spools that you will get an antique spool. You'll get some of the banding, and I am charting some of the alphabet and a few little motifs and things for my Bristol sampler. And so it's going to be like a Bristol antique spool roll, and you'll have everything you need to stitch it. You'll have the design, you'll have the materials, the floss, and then you'll also receive the antique spool and finishing items. And both of the smaller things, I will do a tutorial the day of the retreat to show you how to finish. We'll finish them together. I'll have one finished that you can see completely done, but then we will go through the process of finishing one together. Now, also, you're going to have two make it, take it projects that we'll do together that day, and a swag bag of goodies. You talk to anybody that came to the retreat, I get carried away. I love stuffing bags of goodies, stitching goodies for the retreat attendees. I told them it came from my years of stuffing stockings. We still have stockings in our household. I hang a stocking. My husband has since learned in the years we've been married that he has a stocking. Everybody has a stocking. And I just have fun finding little goodies to go in those. So when we have a swag bag, I have fun stuffing it as well. Guest speakers. I have two signed up that have committed to be in there. It's on their calendars. And I have a potential third guest speaker. I should know before registration opens on the third one. But let me share who my two guest speakers are. I have Richard Greisig, who is the gentleman that I purchased a lot of my antique samplers from. He's going to be talking to us about just how do you tell that you're getting a genuine antique sampler? What are some things to look for if you're wanting to purchase an antique sampler? And so I think he can share some tips with us that will help us make sure we're making a wise purchase. Also, I'm going to ask him to talk to us a little bit about how can you distinguish a sampler, whether it's English, early American, or Scottish. There's definitely motifs that we can look for. There's colors of thread that you can look for, and even types of floss. And so I want Richard to talk about those things with us and share what can we find out if we don't know where the sampler comes from. We've just either inherited or we've purchased this antique sampler. We have a name and a date. What can we do to figure out where it came from or originated? So I think he will be a great guest speaker, and then hopefully allow time for questions at the end. My second guest speaker is Claudia Kistler. She is just, I could sit and listen to her all day speak about the Bristol samplers. So she is going to speak with us about the Bristol samplers, some of the history about the orphanage and how these young girls came to stitch these samplers, possibly show us some of her collection as well. And then she also has a pretty extensive collection of perforated paper needlework. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about the history behind that and connect it with the Bristol samplers, because there is a connection. I really wasn't aware of that till I visited with her recently. And I'm excited to learn that myself. And so hopefully these are two very knowledgeable experts in the field of antique samplers that I am thrilled have agreed to come on board and be guest speakers for our Zoom retreat. I will post all the details on the Violets and Verses Facebook page. If you haven't joined, please go over. It's just Violets and Verses, and it's a Facebook group. It's got a wonderful group of stitchers that love to post their stitching. Everybody is so encouraging, so uplifting and supportive, and so it's just a great place to be. Just to have a happy day. I like to check it out first thing in the morning when I'm eating breakfast, and it's always starts my day out right to see what everybody's posting, look at their stitching, and read what they're posting to each other. And so I will post all the registration details, the cost, everything that you need to know a week before registration opens up. Registration will open the weekend of September the 17th through the 19th. That will start on a Friday and run through that Sunday evening. And then we'll close it that Sunday evening so that I can send confirmation emails out Monday and more information for what to expect. And I know, like I did last time, your box full of all your goodies, all of your class projects and everything, I will ship early, so that way you have it in plenty of time to get any pre-stitching done that needs to be done before you finish the smaller projects. And I'm just looking forward to a fun time with everyone and look forward to sharing more of the details with you soon. Now, I think the last thing I have is the winners from the last giveaway. So I know last floss tube I had found another one of the Yarn Queen wooden signs, which we changed to Stitching Queen. That freebie is on my Facebook page, so feel free. Up in the files section I have several freebies posted, and it fits perfect on here. So this one is being given away to Cindy Purnell. So Cindy, if you are the winner and you see this, please message me. You can message me on Facebook, you can comment below, and I'll need your mailing address and I'll get this out to you. The other giveaway that I had was a fat quarter of this cute little fall gnome fabric. I also had a little packet of these fall trucks that would be cute on a little finish. And that goes to Donna Monk. So Donna, if you're the winner, just message me either here or on Facebook. Give me your mailing address and I'll get this put in the mail to you. So thank you guys. I know I talked a little longer than I usually do, but my goodness, I haven't seen you in 3 weeks, so I had to catch up. So thank you very much. I'm going to try and get back on track. I have some finishes in the works for next Friday. I'm going to try and make it a every Friday post so it's a little more consistent. So thank you guys. I'm also trying out a microphone. I have my youngest son at home. We're trying it out. I hope it works. He's more technology advanced than I am. So he's been real sweet to help me get it hooked up, and hopefully that will help with the sound issues. It may be a trial and error thing. So if it's still not perfect this week, we'll keep trying till we get it right. So please like, subscribe, comment below. If you have stitchy friends that aren't watching, please share my channel with them. And thank you guys so much. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. Stay safe, enjoy some stitching time and time with your friends and family. So take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.